Hi there, class. My name is Josh Williams. Today, I'm going to be talking about improving parking on campus. So I feel like parking is very difficult, especially with how little there is for students. I think that a lot of us can vouch for the fact that we don't have enough spots on campus and that parking just can get kind of hectic at times. And if you park in a wrong spot that you don't really know, you may be getting a fine or just getting a ticket. So one of the one way to fix that, I would say, would be just maybe add another parking lot. I know we're doing construction on a new lecture hall near the dorms on the backside of campus. So maybe continuing that with that construction company, we could add another parking garage somewhere or just more parking for the students. And I know for me personally, being a student athlete, I think that there isn't a whole lot of parking that accommodates better with the athletes. For basketball and stuff, like they have that whole parking lot area for them, but there really isn't any other sport that has the ability to get capable parking. So one way I think that we could fix that is possibly designating areas for student athlete parking. You could maybe designate the front lot near the baseball field or kind of in front of the student union. That could be student athlete parking. I just think that it would help a lot of the student athletes get to and from their locker rooms and their gyms. And it would be a lot easier for them just to get to and from wherever they're going. In terms of the price, I think that the student athlete parking pass should be a little cheaper just because of the amount of wear and tear that the student athlete has to go through. I think that they're already having a lot on their table in terms of academics and athletics. So just decreasing the parking pass for them, the parking pass price would benefit them. I mean, I think anywhere in the range of like $30 to $60 would be reasonable for a student athlete parking pass. And then in terms of building a whole new parking garage, I think that would be a lot more money. I don't really know exactly how much building a parking structure like that would cost, but I have a feeling it would be somewhere in the thousands to hundred thousands. I think in terms of a timeline of like implementing it, the first month would be surveying the athletes to make sure, like, to see where they would possibly want the parking spots to be. Then possibly start putting up some signs to indicate like these spots are gonna turn into student athlete parking. Just so that the people who have continued that, just so that the people that have been parking there are aware that it's going to start changing and that they might not be allowed to park there anymore. You'd have to update the online parking portal so that the people who are going around giving tickets are aware that this spot is going to be designated to student athletes and that they're going to have a specific parking pass. And it'll be a little different than it'll look a little different than the regular parking pass, but it'll still count the same for them to be allowed to park in the designated areas. And I would say that this would all happen at least 3 months in advance, and then the month before it happens, it'll be a huge notification message going out to the university about what's going on. In terms of actual parking spots for the student athlete parking pass, I would say likely around maybe 150 to 200 spots. I know that we have a lot of student athletes on our campus, especially with adding a whole new men's volleyball program. That just adds another 20 to 25 people with players, including the staff and trainers and everything. So that would be something that would be I would say very easy to designate 150 spots for student athletes and everyone in their respective program. But in conclusion, I think that the student athlete parking pass would help the parking issue, and really just adding a new parking structure would be very beneficial just for the whole university, and just making it a lot easier for students to navigate to and from class. Because I know for myself, it's always chaotic getting in and out of those parking lots. I just feel like it's very crammed and there's not a lot of spots, and it can just get hectic at times. And I feel like it's a very easy thing to do in terms of implementing it, the student athlete parking pass. I think it'll be very beneficial for the whole NKU campus and for the university as a whole. But thank you for listening, and hope you have a good rest of your night.